One? Okay, well, it's still too far outside. That's it? Okay, come here. Ball, glove in the bucket. I'm going to get you real glove. Listen, so just like that, you see how you're calling numbers? When you're pitching to a real batter, you're always thinking about a different number. Okay? You're never throwing him just 5. You're never throwing him just 3. Unless you think there's a pitch he can't hit. And usually it's not a 5. 5, everybody can hit, right? But maybe they can't hit 9s. Maybe they can't hit, maybe they can't hit 9s. Maybe they can't hit 7s. You know, maybe they can't hit 1s. Maybe they can't hit 3s. Okay? So if you figure out what he can't hit, that's what you want to throw him until he shows you can hit it. Now, if you don't know what he can't hit, then throw him different pitches. You know, but get ahead of count. But you're always throwing strikes. So the first one, you're throwing a 1, but you want the 1 to be a strike. You need the umpire to go, good! Because if you throw a 1 in, unless you think he's going to swing at it, like if you're ahead in the count, if it's 0-2, you can take a chance and throw like we're going to have a new pitch, which is going to be like when we want to bounce in the dirt right here. This is going to be like this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, a 10. Huh? What? No, we're going to have a 10. A 10, 11, and a 12. Okay, a 10 is right here. It bounces. Right here in front of the plate. It bounces right here, look. It hits the dirt. That's a 10, that's 11, and a 12. Okay? So you put the glove, throw me 3 more pitches, 10, 11, 12. Try it out. Okay? So when you get ahead of the count 0-2, when it's 0-2, or 1-2, maybe even 1-2, you get the 1 dirt, you get to 2. But he might swing. But if he swings, he strikes out, right? Because if it's 1-2, he strikes out, right? Then you won. Now, if he doesn't swing and it's 2-2, you can get back to throwing him. You don't have to throw him a 5 necessarily, but you have to throw him a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, or 6. You know, probably not a 7, 8, or a 9 because you don't want the umpire to call the ball. It's too low. The umpire's already seen you throw a 10, 11, and a 12. So if you throw a 9 or a 7, 8, and a 9, the umpire might call it a ball. So you want to keep it up here. You want to throw a 6, a 5, 7. What is it? Or I'm sorry, you want to throw a 4 or 5 or 6 or 1 or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? When it's 2-2. Okay, but right now it's 0-2. So you know what a 10 is now, right? I want you to throw a 10. Okay, watch out, camera. That means it's coming for you. 10. Oh, good pitch. Hey, that's gonna be challenging for Daddy now. Hey, I need my mask. Okay, good pitch. Okay, throw me 11. There you go. That was a 10 though. That was a good pitch. You understand why we're throwing that? Because why? Yeah, well, we want them to swing at a bad pitch, right? If they swing at a bad pitch, we get it out much easier, right? Let's go. Okay, this is a 12. 12. Good pitch. Okay, let's go. Take a break. Do you swing at bad pitches? Not that much, right? But do some people swing at bad pitches? Yeah. Okay, like we're not gonna name no names. We don't know who, right? But there's players that swing at bad pitches. Let's see your bat right there. Get the bat. Get that bat. That's fine. Now, you're don't hit me, okay? Don't really swing. But here, I throw you a 10. Look, what if you go swinging? Right? That's the easiest strikeout, right? Swing all the way, but slow motion. Swing all the way. Keep going, all the way. Strike out, right? 11, throw 11, look. Slow. Strike out. He thought it was here and it just started dropping, right? Strike out. Nobody can hit the balls that bounce right here, right? Yeah. Not really, right? Not very well. So you're definitely gonna get a strikeout. So when you're 0-2, try throwing a ball that's an easy strike. Because if you throw right here, he might hit it. The umpire might call a strike, but what if he hits it? You don't get a strikeout, right? But he hits the grounder, you don't get a strikeout. But if you throw him right here, look. Here's your 10. Strike up. Right? Here's your 11. 0-2. Strike up. Okay, and here's your 12. Strike up. Okay. Alright? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you hit them because you're right there. But lots of people are not gonna hit those. Right? So we want to, when it's 0-2. Now if it's 1-2, you might try it one more time. You know what I mean, right? But when it's 2-2, you gotta start getting back to pitches. Now, you can't throw a 1, 2, 3, a 7, an 8, or a 9 when it's 2-2 because the umpire already thinks you're throwing balls. You gotta think. Listen, you gotta think the way the batter thinks, and you gotta think the way the umpire thinks. Okay? So you saw the umpire calling what kind of certain pitches balls, certain pitches strikes, right? You're up down the mound. He's calling, wait. He said ball. What? You're like, what? That was a strike. You're thinking, right? But you can't argue the umpire. You just know he calls those balls. So you got to get it. a little more inside, right? Right? Or if he's calling these strikes, you keep throwing those, right? If he's calling these strikes, you can keep throwing those, right? But if he's calling this a ball, then you got to get it down a little, right? You know what I mean, right? So you got to figure out how the umpire thinks, where his strike. Every umpire has a different strike zone, and it's going to be the same umpire when you're batting. So now you know you've been pitching. You know what the umpire calls strikes. So if you see a ball out here, you know he's going to call that ball. But if you see a ball here and he calls a strike, you know he's going to call that strike, right? And then when you're batting, you got to pay attention to how the pitcher pitches. So you got to watch the pitcher, watch the umpire too when you're on the mound, right? Here, hold it. Okay, hold the bat. So if it's 2-2, can we throw a 9? Probably not, right? So we got to throw like we probably throw a 6. Should we be throwing 5s?
No.
When should we throw a 5? No, 3.
Well, you don't want to get to 3-2.
We don't want to get 3-2. So maybe you can throw like a 6 or a 3 or a 2, right? Or a 1 on 2-2, right? Maybe a 5, not a 5. Okay, I'll tell you what. Don't throw a 5 to a batter who's number 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? Those guys, why? Those are the big hitters, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So we throw a 5 to a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, or 9, or 10, or 11, right? So you got to know where the batter, where you're at in the lineup, right? Okay, let's go take a break. Good job. I'll call you when I'm ready. At least you can turn the TV on. Is the TV already on? Just watch TV and get some water. Get some water, or get that juice you were drinking in that cup.